Ever wondered which cities in Georgia you might want to avoid? Let's dive into the top 10 cities that might just surprise you. From soaring crime rates to a serious lack of job opportunities, we're taking a hard look at the places that might make you think twice about settling down. Buckle up, because we're about to get real about the Peach State. And trust me, some of these places are anything but sweet. Alright guys, first up we're headed to Albany, Georgia. Now, Albany's got a bit of a reputation, and honestly it's not exactly the kind you want your city to have. We're talking about a place where the crime rate is seriously off the charts. Like, lock your doors, don't go out at night kind of vibe. And it's not just the safety issue, folks. The economy in Albany is, well, let's just say it's seen better days. Unemployment's high, opportunities are scarce, it's tough out there. Look, I'm all about giving credit where credit's due, but when it comes to Albany, I'm just not seeing it. It's a shame, really, because the city itself has potential. Some beautiful historic buildings, a decent amount of green space, but the negatives, they just weigh so heavily. You know, you hear stories about people coming to a new city with nothing but a suitcase and a dream. Well, I'm not saying Albany's gonna crush your dreams, but it might make you work a hell of a lot harder to achieve them. So yeah, Albany, Georgia, maybe not the first place on your list unless you're really into adrenaline-pumping walks around the block. Next stop on our not-so-grand tour of Georgia? Macon. Now, Macon's got this whole southern charm thing going on with its historic architecture and all, but don't let that fool you because beneath the surface, Macon's got some serious issues. We're talking about public safety concerns, guys, like walk around with your head on a swivel kind of concerns. And the job market? Well, let's just say it's not exactly booming. Unemployment's a real struggle here, and finding a job that pays a living wage, good luck with that. Look, I'm not saying Macon's all bad. There's a certain grittiness to it, a realness that you don't find everywhere. But that grittiness comes at a cost. It's the kind of place where you've got to fight for everything you get, and even then, there's no guarantee you'll succeed. I know, I'm starting to sound like a broken record here. But seriously guys, these are real issues that affect real people. And it's not just about feeling safe or having a good job, it's about having a decent quality of life. And unfortunately in Macon, that's something that's becoming increasingly difficult to find. Alright, let's talk about Columbus, Georgia. Now, Columbus is a bit of a head-scratcher. On the one hand, you've got some decent job opportunities, especially in the military sector. But then, on the other hand, you've got crime. And I'm not talking about petty theft here, folks. We're talking about serious violent crime that'll make you want to invest in a personal bodyguard. But wait, there's more. Columbus also suffers from a serious case of lack of amenities-itis. What does that mean, you ask? Well, it means that if you're looking for a vibrant cultural scene, diverse dining options, or exciting nightlife, you're gonna be sorely disappointed. It's like Columbus put all its eggs in one basket, the military base, and forgot about everything else. And that's a shame because the city has potential. It's got a rich history, a beautiful riverfront, and some decent parks. But until Columbus addresses its crime problem and invests in some serious quality of life improvements, it's gonna stay stuck in this weird limbo of potential and disappointment. Okay folks, buckle up because we're headed to Warner Robins, Georgia. Now, Warner Robins is one of those cities that's heavily reliant on a single industry. In this case, the Air Force Base. And when that industry takes a hit, well, let's just say the entire city feels the pain. That's exactly what's been happening in Warner Robins lately. The local economy has been on a bit of a downslide, and that's putting a strain on everything from job opportunities to housing affordability. And speaking of housing, let's just say that finding a decent place to live in Warner Robins without breaking the bank is about as easy as finding a unicorn riding a roller coaster. Now, I'm not saying that Warner Robins is a complete write-off. It's got that small-town vibe that some people find charming, and there are definitely some good people trying to make a go of it there. But the economic realities are tough to ignore. And until Warner Robins finds a way to diversify its economy and create more opportunities for its residents, it's going to remain a place where people struggle to make ends meet. Augusta, Augusta, Augusta. What can I say about Augusta? Well, for starters, it's home to the Masters tournament, which is pretty cool, I guess. But once you get past the manicured greens and million-dollar mansions, you'll find a city that's struggling with some serious urban decay. We're talking about crumbling infrastructure, neglected neighborhoods, and a general feeling that the city has seen better days. And unfortunately, that decline is reflected in the quality of life for many of its residents. Crime is a major concern, poverty rates are high, and educational opportunities are lacking. Look, I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom here. Augusta has potential. It's got a rich history, a beautiful riverfront, and a vibrant arts scene, if you know where to look. But until Augusta addresses its deep-rooted issues with poverty, crime, and urban blight, it's going to remain a city of stark contrasts, a place where beauty and decay exist side by side. Okay, folks, we're headed to Union City, Georgia, and let me tell you, this one's a bit of a heartbreaker. You see, Union City is a place where the potential is palpable, but the challenges are steep. We're talking about a city grappling with high crime rates, struggling schools, and a lack of economic opportunities. It's like Union City is caught in a vicious cycle. The lack of jobs leads to poverty, which in turn contributes to crime. And the struggling schools, well, they make it even harder for kids to break out of that cycle and create a better future for themselves. Look, I'm not saying that there's no hope for Union City. There are dedicated teachers, community leaders, and residents who are fighting tooth and nail to make a difference. But they're facing an uphill battle. And until Union City addresses its systemic issues with poverty, education, and crime, it's going to continue to be a place where dreams are deferred and opportunities are scarce. Next up on our tour of Georgia's most avoidable cities is Valdosta. Now, Valdosta is a city that's full of contradictions. It's home to a major university, which should, in theory, bring in jobs and opportunities. But in reality, Valdosta's economy is struggling, and many of its residents are struggling right along with it. We're talking about high unemployment, low wages, and a lack of economic diversity. And as if that weren't enough, Valdosta is also grappling with aging infrastructure, neglected neighborhoods, and a general lack of investment in its future. It's like Valdosta is stuck in a time warp, clinging to its past glories while the rest of the world passes it by. And until Valdosta makes some serious changes, invests in its people, and embraces a more sustainable future, it's going to continue to be a place where potential is squandered and opportunities are few and far between. Okay, folks, let's talk about Rome, Georgia. Now, Rome has a rich history and a certain southern charm that's hard to deny. But beneath the surface, Rome is grappling with some serious challenges, namely a lack of employment opportunities and a noticeable absence of essential public services. We're talking about a city where finding a decent-paying job can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. And when it comes to public services like transportation, infrastructure, and even basic amenities, well, let's just say that Rome could use a serious upgrade. Look, I'm not saying that Rome is a lost cause. It's got potential, and there are definitely people working hard to make things better. But until Rome addresses its economic woes and invests in its public services, it's going to remain a place where people struggle to make ends meet and opportunities are few and far between. Alright folks, we're nearing the end of our journey through Georgia's most avoidable cities, but we've got one more stop, Brunswick. Now, Brunswick is a city with a lot of potential. It's got a beautiful coastline, a rich history, and a certain southern charm that's hard to resist. But unfortunately, Brunswick is also a city that's been plagued by high poverty rates and crime. We're talking about a place where opportunities are scarce, education is lacking, and many residents struggle just to make ends meet. It's like Brunswick is caught in a vicious cycle. The lack of jobs and opportunities leads to poverty, which in turn contributes to crime. And the cycle continues, generation after generation. Now, I'm not saying that there's no hope for Brunswick. There are dedicated community leaders, teachers, and residents who are working tirelessly to make a difference. Okay, folks, I know what you're thinking. Atlanta? Seriously? But hear me out on this one. Atlanta is a city of contradictions. It's a thriving metropolis with a booming economy, a vibrant cultural scene, and a reputation as a hub for innovation and progress. But it's also a city grappling with some serious growing pains. We're talking about traffic congestion that will make you want to pull your hair out, crime rates that are still stubbornly high, and air quality that's, well, let's just say it's not exactly pristine. Look, I get it, Atlanta is a city that's constantly on the move, always striving, always reaching for the next big thing. But sometimes it feels like Atlanta is so busy trying to be the next New York or Los Angeles that it's forgetting about the people who actually live there. The cost of living is skyrocketing, affordable housing is scarce, and the gap between the haves and the have-nots is widening every day. So yeah, Atlanta might be a city of opportunity, but it's also a city of challenges. And until Atlanta addresses its issues with traffic, crime, and affordability, it's going to remain a city of contradictions, a place where dreams can come true, but only for those who can afford it. So there you have it, folks, my take on the top 10 cities in Georgia you might want to avoid. Look, I know this might have been a bit of a downer, but hey, someone's got to do it, right? Interested in more eye-opening content? Don't forget to check out our other videos for more insights and surprises. Hit that subscribe button to stay updated.